Hello. I would love to have some clarification on meditation and the impact of healing in the body. I heard a seminar, a woman was asking about what at the cellular level happens with healing. And it came down to disease being a focus upon a subject that disallows the natural energy from flowing the way it would if you were not focused upon a subject.
Well, you have to start with the premise that you are an extension of source energy, and that communication is being offered to you at all times. It's being offered to you on a cellular level. When you think about it, so much is happening that you don't have to have conscious awareness of. You don't wake each other up. All right, you keep our hearts pumping until 1, I'll take it from 2 to 4. The cells of your body, the trillions of cells of your body, are in communication with source energy, and their natural proclivity is to thrive. So just like what we've been talking about all day here today, the only thing that prevents that alignment is contradictory thought. The only thing that gets in the way of that communication is habits of thought that introduce vibrational resistance that doesn't let the clarity of the transmission get through. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so when you feel negative emotion, that means you're blocking that flow. And when you feel physical discomfort, that's just an exaggerated signal also that you're blocking that flow. But it also could mean, you could translate that to mean that help's on the way. In other words, the cells are asking and source is answering. And if cells weren't asking and source weren't answering, then you couldn't feel the pain. If there was no flow, you wouldn't have anything to block. And so the fact that there is discomfort means that you're blocking something that is flowing. And if you focus on what's flowing, then it's easier to stop blocking it. So we laid a little basis. Now,
yeah, so in terms of healing then, so if you have an illness or that blockages that you're feeling the pain of, and so then releasing or getting in a state of meditation then should raise the vibration to allow it to flow.
And the reason that that's a really good remedy, you're introducing another subject here that we really want to talk about, and that is the subject of trying too hard or putting my attention on it from the wrong vibrational perspective. Every subject is two subjects: what is wanted and the absence of what is wanted. And sometimes you think that you're talking about what is wanted when actually you're focused upon the absence of what is wanted. And so that's why playing this game that we're offering for a while off the subject of anything very important, because the important subjects are the hardest ones to figure this out about at first. Play the game of, is this a satisfying thought or a not satisfying thought, so that you can show yourself whether you're in the receiving mode of your source or whether you're in the receiving mode of something else. Because if you're in the receiving mode of your source, then you want to follow the thought, think about it more, follow the impulse more and more. But if you're in the receiving mode of something else, then you don't really want to think about it more. People try too hard. It's like they'll have something that's bothering them, maybe even something that has been diagnosed, and then they want to get rid of it, but they don't get rid of it because what they're focused upon is getting more, not getting less.
So meditation will naturally help release the dis-ease.
Meditation is wonderful, because when you stop thought, you stop resistant thought, and when you stop resistant thought, you allow the communication. And when you allow the communication, we're not saying that you would under no condition follow forward with any action. You might very well get an impulse or receive an idea about something, but you've got to be in that receiving mode before you become the receiver or the realizer of those ideas or those changes. That makes sense?
Yeah, for sure. So there is a process that I think it lends into itself here that I read. It's called the healing code, and there's two parts to it. It's energetic, and one of them is a mind component where you focus on something positive and you repeat that to yourself, and at the same time you're using the energy that's emitted from your fingertips.
Now, this is good, but we want to clarify something here, and then we want to hear more from you. The reason that we want to clarify it is because let's say that what's on your mind is your concern about something, maybe some diagnosis or something. And so you sit with the intention of focusing on something good. but the vibration you really got going on is you're worried about something. So you're not really under the influence, you're not really wide open. So then it becomes trying too hard, and it actually introduces more resistance into the equation. And that's why we want you to play for a little while, all of you, with am I feeling satisfied or not, which will tell you which receiving mode am I in. And when you're certain that you're in the receiving mode of alignment, then anything that you do, it's like out on the table there are 6 different decks of cards. They're affirmation cards, and they have been beautifully illustrated by artists who were really in the flow, and they've been written by us who made certain that every word is vibrationally accurate, with the intention of getting you into that open receiving place. One is about health, one is about money, one is about relationships, one is general well-being. In other words, just about anything that anybody is wanting to improve are represented in those cards. But if you, from a place of step 1, where you're knowing what you don't want, where you're worried about something, were to sit and look at these cards, which we consider to be perfection in terms of their vibrational accuracy, they could still mess you up because you're using them from a place of resistance. So every thought you think is increasing your resistance rather than releasing your resistance. So you're arguing, I create my own reality. Sure I do. Life is supposed to be fun. Yeah, that sucks. In other words, you find yourself arguing with infinite intelligence because you're not in the receiving mode. You see what we're getting at? So it's about determining that first. That's why meditation is so wonderful, because if you'll sit for 15 or 20 minutes and focus upon something that, like Esther likes to focus on something because it's present just about everywhere she goes. Some sound in the room, like this fan. Can you hear it? It's boring. You're not thinking, I've heard better. You might have to release a thought and go back to the fan, and release a thought and go back to the fan. But if you are determined to focus upon just taking that fan in, just receiving that fan, you can quiet your mind. You can. And once your mind is quiet, you've stopped resistance. And then once resistance is not present within you, your cork will bob to its natural place there in the surface of the pure positive energy. And then just enjoy. Don't try to make anything happen. Don't try to affirm. Don't try to fix something that's broken. Just rest in that alignment and let that natural alignment carry you to what's next and what's next and what's next and what's next.
And the hot seat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that has been my experience. I've followed your studies, your teachings for 11 years now, and I was beating myself over the head basically with different processes that I was trying because I was trying too hard until I got to the air conditioner method of meditation. For the last year and a half, it has just remarkably changed my life.
In the Ask and It Is Given book, there are 22 processes, and if you'll notice as you read them, there is guidance about where you are on the emotional scale when you use such a process, because they're written to acknowledge the level of your resistance. Because if there's a lot of resistance, some of the processes won't work at all for you. If there's not much resistance, then some of them work easily. And so we defined that in the processes. But under the process of meditation, it says, because it works no matter where you are on the emotional scale. Because as you quiet your mind, you stop resistance, and when you stop resistance, your vibration rises, and when your vibration rises, you are in the receptive mode, and the more you do it, the easier it is.
Yeah, and that's been my experience too for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
So just beautiful, beautiful. And so my final question is, we had talked several years ago that the things that I've learned from you, and then this meditation practice with the air conditioner method, was what helped me release my addiction to alcohol. And we were talking about the fact that I wanted to teach seminars, and you interjected that you thought I should, that there are a lot of people who have tried a lot of different approaches who could use a new approach. And so I'm ready to do that now, and I have this, it's my passion project, my inspiration. I'm developing a movie-based education program.
Just pay attention as you're moving along. First of all, we never tell anybody they should do anything. But if somebody feels like they want to do something and it feels like that, then you can't not do it and feel good. It's not a matter of should, it's a matter of having gotten the momentum going, and now you're being called to the fulfillment of yourself, and nothing else will do. Maybe that's a should. Maybe that means should, but what we mean is nothing else will do. Once you get something in motion and you line up with it and it calls you, so just pay attention as you are moving along, because there are things that others will encourage you to do that are from the wrong receiving mode.
I don't think this one is. This has been percolating for quite a while.
We're not talking
Yeah.
about the idea.
Yeah.
We're talking about pieces within it. One of the things that always happens, we're really out here on the leading edge with you, so enjoy this, because once something has been decided by you, and so you're underway with it, you find yourself thinking about it a lot. In fact, thinking about it mostly, more than anything else, often more than all other things put together. But you're not always in the receiving mode. So sometimes you'll be thinking about it because that's what you do now, but not from the receiving mode. And so then wonky ideas can be introduced into the equation. You see what we're getting at? So just take it easy and let it be inspired. That's all we're saying. Let it be inspired.
Well, I'm inspired to ask if you potentially would be in the movie. I would like to interview you for that.
There are a lot of variables to that answer. Has to do with Esther. This is an idea that is not very well established in your vibrational frequency. There's still enough resistance within it that was not a slam dunk.
Yeah, okay.
You see what we're getting at?
Yeah, no.
Would you be in the movie? Maybe? You see what we're getting at?
Yeah, yeah.
There are all kinds of people that can be in your movie. Yeah.
Including you, so I'll work on that one. Thank you so much.
Yeah.